People on Reddit seem to have the most insanely questionable life stories because the other day I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts when I came across this.
My sister made me nuts so hard that I passed out and somehow woke up in the shower while our parents were home. After this experience, I have started believing in a higher power, specifically my sister's tongue.
Hey, yo, what did I just hear? Your sister made you nut so hard that you passed out and woke up in the shower? And because of this, you've formed your own religion. You're praising your sister's tongue. You're calling that the higher power? Not God or anything, is your sister's tongue? Is this a cult or like a religion?
She and I are both very active in the bedroom. The only problem we both have is that sometimes one of us takes an incredibly long time to finish, sometimes resulting in an hour of straight pounding, which leaves us both with friction burns on our pelvis. We throw toys into the equation, and while they definitely work, we are always searching for something better and better. One of the things we recently stumbled across was aphrodisiac chocolate, made to enhance pleasure. Both intrigued, we decided to buy some online from Tabs, and the results were not what I expected, to say the least. When we ordered it, we made a pack, not engage in any intimate activity until it arrived, to see how good these things really were. They came 4 days later, and that same day, I came over to my sister's house. Just my luck, as our parents were there. But was I really going to let that stop me? Hell no. If mom catches us, she could join in for all I cared. She's hot too.
Okay, okay, you gotta chill. You actually gotta chill. If your parents are home while you're trying to do the frickety with your sister, it's not a hindrance. It's not a roadblock. In fact, it's a bonus. You low-key wish that your mom would join in as well. Apparently, your mom is hot. Okay. I hope that's your stepmom, not your biological mom.
Anyway, after exchanging some formal pleasantries with our parents, we headed upstairs. The look Dad gave me showed he very much knew that his daughter was about to get pounded with him. There, but once again, oh well. So when we got to my sister's room, we ate the tabs of chocolates that had arrived, and took a little more than the recommended amount each. We waited for it to kick in, and it did almost instantly. The next 20 minutes were spent teasing each other and making out. Then I got the urge to get some brain. I asked my sister if she could tie me up and blindfold me, then go to town. And being Atrium herself, she agreed before I even finished my suggestion. The next 20 minutes could only be...
What? That's it. You're not even gonna finish the story? I think they made this short before they extended the limit for shorts to be longer than a minute. But this guy says his dad has like a hidden sixth sense that allows him to know whenever his daughter's about to get, pounded. But instead of getting pounded by some random by her boyfriend, she gets pounded by her own biological brother. And then after eating the chocolates, you ask your sister to do some hella kinky stuff to you, to tie you up and blindfold you and then give you the hawk tour. Okay. What is going on? Honestly, I'm glad the short cut off early at the 59-second mark. I don't know whether I wanted to listen to even more of this. I'm kind of scared what happens at the end of this story, honestly.
My boyfriend got my dog pregnant. When I went to the vet to get my 2-year-old...
Wait. Your boyfriend got your dog pregnant? Is that even humanly possible? Maybe I misheard it. Wait, was it the boyfriend?
My boyfriend got my dog pregnant.
Okay, it was. Okay,
My boyfriend got my dog pregnant. When I went to the vet to get my 2-year-old German Shepherd spayed, I found out my dog was pregnant, but it was pretty early on, and they still did the spay. I was shocked because I don't allow her with any male dogs that aren't neutered. I couldn't think of when she could have had the opportunity. I was advised not to spay her too soon.
What do they mean by spay? What does spay mean? Okay, spaying is when you sort of remove the frickety organs from the dog, from the female dog, to prevent them from getting pregnant.
I was advised not to spay her too soon because of joint issues in German Shepherds. When my boyfriend found out, he was so mad. He had been telling me spaying or neutering ruined dogs and making them have no drive, and he doesn't want that. I have no idea why he thinks that, but I did it anyway. He was always telling me she deserves to have her bloodline passed on. He wouldn't talk to me for a week. It's been a few months, and yesterday a man knocked on our door and asked for my boyfriend. I stay in the living room and overhear him ask my boyfriend where his puppy is, and my boyfriend said I spayed and terminated the litter. He promises the man he will give him the money back, and I go to ask him what on earth he means.
Wait, so the boyfriend impregnated your dog in order to sell the puppies off to some random guy and make some money off it? What the hell is this story? This could be true. This honestly could be a true story. That is a scary thing. So the reason why he was angry at you, getting rid of the ovaries from your female dog was not because it was animal cruelty, but because he wanted to impregnate the dog for longer and sell off the puppies. How many times had he done this beforehand?
He tells me my boyfriend had my dog mate with his German Shepherd, and he was supposed to be getting one of the puppies.
Oh, okay. So the boyfriend didn't literally get the dog pregnant. Okay, so it was the boyfriend's dog that was meant to do the frickety with the girlfriend's dog, and then they were meant to get pregnant, and then the girlfriend's female dog was meant to have the litter, the puppies, and then he was gonna sell them off. Okay, that's a really, really bad misinterpretation. My bad. I apologize for that. I literally thought the boyfriend stuck his dingling into the dog's lasagna.
I'm in a sexual relationship with my sister. It started when we were both teenagers at the time who were curious about sex. We had played doctor as kids numerous times, as most siblings do, and eventually we started making out, so to speak. For the first time it happened, we'd been watching a movie in our room, and I tried to use my moves. We ended up kissing, and things slowly moved from there. We didn't immediately start having sex or anything. It was pretty gradual, like any other relationship is, especially as teens. My first experience with just physical contact, like kissing and touching, was pretty wild. There was definite shame involved.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope there was, like, a lot of shame involved. That is your sister. How could you possibly have no shame involved?
I felt scared of what God would do to us, but being a teenager, I managed to overlook it somehow. The first time we had sex was pretty special, but my feelings of guilt and shame were gone by then. It took us over 2 years to finally get to that point.
Wait, you were fricking your sister for 2 years with shame before you could finally frick her without shame? Surely by the 1 year mark, you would feel so much shame that you just stop doing this. Like, just stop doing this. But I guess it's the hormones. He's blaming the hormones. He said it was a teenager. The hormones got to him.
It took us over 2 years to finally get to that point, and by then, it was hard to feel bad about our actions. We've tried to hide it as best we could. We still share the same room. Because of how small the house is, there are only 2 bedrooms, one for our parents and one for us. The only one I think who might have some inkling of what was going on might have been our mother. She caught us wrestling once. We were clothed, thank God, but it was obvious what was going on. However, she never said anything and never made us move out of the room. So maybe not. At the least, I've never told anyone in real life and probably never will.
Well, I mean, now all of us know. I assume this has like over 1 million views. Now over 1 million people know about your relationship with your sister. That is insane. That is a little bit insane. But I mean, W mother for not saying anything about it. No, that is not a W mother. The mother 100% knew, but okay, why wouldn't she say anything about it? But I mean, it's kind of hard to accuse your children of doing the frickety with each other, because what if she was wrong? Like, what if they weren't doing that and then the mother was like awkwardly like theorizing that was happening?
I think my children are effing. I hope their little baby together doesn't turn out with 6 fingers.
Did you just say you think your children are doing the frickety? Well, I mean, if they are really doing the frickety, like 1,000,000% their children are gonna end up with 6 fingers. I'm sorry, like, I hate to break it to you.
I have a bit of a blended family. I married my beautiful wife Portia about 14 years ago, after my late wife passed away, leaving me with 3 kids alone. She came with 2 of her own in tow. They were all very young, the youngest 2 being around 2 years old. I thought we found a perfect family for our kids after they lost someone very important to them, as our youngest 2 children were too young to remember. I always raised them with the assumption that they were biological siblings. They didn't need to know the horrible truth that both of their parents had passed away. I should have also told them how disgusting it is to touch your literal sister.
Yeah, that would have been a really good idea. That would have been a brilliant idea. Maybe you should have prioritized doing that instead of prioritizing hiding the fact that like their parents are dead. I feel like you probably should have educated them that it is not okay to do the frickety with your siblings.
They were always extremely close, treating each other like fraternal twins. They acted like they could hear each other's thoughts. They would speak to each other with some weird hidden language. To be honest, they freaked the hell out of me. Every day I would wake up thinking they would start doing backbends and chasing after me and my wife with weapons. As they got older, their attachment to each other got worse and worse. My wife and I tried to put them through therapy, but they would just fight us off and sit quietly the whole session. Then one day it just stopped. They didn't talk all. The time they made friends outside of each other and they acted like normal kids, I thought my life was finally simple. That was when I started hearing little squeaking at night. I ignored it every time, hoping it was my kid just jumping around in their bed. But when I tell you it was loud, the whole house could hear it one night. I had enough and went to tell whoever it was to quiet it down. What I saw scarred me for life. Subscribe.
And who is to blame? Who like, just answer the question. Like, who is to blame? Maybe if you had taught your children not to do the frickety with each other, this wouldn't have happened. But I mean, to be fair, they aren't biological siblings, right? They're step siblings, and so they won't really come with like the 6 fingers, like he said at the start. So I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just, yeah, it's a little bit strange.
My bike is gay. I was biking with my family until all of a sudden I couldn't control my bike anymore. I felt a surge of dominance coming from the bike as we headed into a secret path. I was screaming and yelling at the bike to stop, but it wouldn't. We kept speeding down into the forest path. I decided enough was enough and jumped off the bike and realized I had no idea where I was.
Okay, this guy 100% has schizophrenia. Your bike is gay? How can your bike be gay? He's 100% hearing voices in his head. How is the bike controlling itself going down the path? And how can you feel the dominance exerting itself from the bike?
This is when I heard the bike creak and whimper, almost like it was moaning out to me in a soft but lusting voice. Boy, hop back on me and continue riding. Remember how much fun we had? I told my bike no. I was done riding him and fed up with his stupid bike. In his stupid freaking voice, I yelled. So I sat there for about 15 minutes, but eventually I gave in and slipped back onto the crevice of the seat.
Okay, yeah, 100%. 1,000,000% this guy has schizophrenia. The bike is calling out to him just like the Green Goblin mask is calling out to the Green Goblin.
That's a good boy. The bike creaked. I just wanted to go home, but my bike seat began morphing into a 12-inch, freaking me in the butt. I was screaming, but nobody could hear me because me and the bike were in the middle of nowhere, and my family probably forgot about me.
Okay, so now the bike seat has just turned into a 12-inch dingaling and has just entered your guy ass. I don't know whether this is schizophrenia or whether this is like Like, what even is this? Maybe this isn't schizophrenia. Maybe the bike did enter him. Maybe this guy's a victim. This guy could be a victim.
The bike continued to manipulate me into believing I never had a family in the first place, and LED me to a secret underground bike shop where they locked up weary bikers who had been submissive to their bikes and reaped the consequences. There were submissive male bikes, dominant female bikes, the whole thing. In this bike shop, they locked me up and were planning to turn me into a bike by shoving an exhaust up my butt and putting chains around my D. But during the night, when the bikes were sleeping, I managed to escape. I started a fire and burnt down the bike shop, and then took my skateboard.
Okay, I think this is a little bit more than schizophrenia. What is the level above schizophrenia? So this guy thinks that there's a secret bike shop where all like the prisoners of the bikes get taken underground, and they're gonna turn him into a bike by wrapping a chain around his dingling and shoving an exhaust up his ass. Is this Coraline but for bikes? Like, you know how in Coraline they tried to turn her into like a doll, like with the button eyes, and they tried to do that by like sewing the buttons onto her eyes? Is this story basically Coraline but for bikes? Like, instead of the button eyes, they're just gonna shove the exhaust up his ass and like the chain around his dingling?
What is the worst thing you have ever done? I was 13 and recently started feeling those feelings I was trapped inside for so long and had zero privacy. My door didn't even lock, and when I shut, someone would always want to know why. So I did what any man my age would do. I got dressed and made my way through 3 feet of snowdrifts and into the woods behind my house. I crawled down into a gully and started making a snowman in the shape of a woman on the ground.
Okay, buddy. Okay, I think I can tell where this is going, but you said I did what anyone else my age would do, and you made a snowman of a woman, and I assume you're gonna frick it. But I mean, who else has done that? I don't think anyone does that except for you. This is you. This is not like everyone else. Don't bring us into this. You're alone with this one, buddy.
I gave her some curves in a hole my heart was pounding, and I was about to do some. I couldn't believe what I was about to do and started thinking, yep, I'm crazy.
I mean, that's probably the most reasonable thing you've said in this story so far. I think, yeah, 100% you are crazy. There is something a little bit wrong with you. You're about to frick a snowman. And I understand that you can't lock your room and you can't goon in your room, because if you try to lock your room or close your door, people will like immediately open it. But that doesn't mean you have to go out into the woods and just build a snowman to frick it. Why don't you just like not goon? Like here's a crazy idea. Why don't you just not goon? Like, how hard is it to just not goon?
I tried to just walk away, but I was past the point of no return. I unzipped and got busy. I was done, almost as fast as I started. I got up and brushed her away as if she meant nothing to me, and climbed out of the gully, walked back to the house, went into my room and listened to Counting Crows or some speak. Like, I didn't just have sex with a snowman every time it snows. I think about this crazy story.
Wait, so this guy literally, he fricks a random snowman every time it snows, and he managed to get it off as well. He managed to release inside the snowman, and all of his homemade special sauce is gonna be just like frozen all across the snowman's face. But I mean, what is this haircut over here? Why do they keep playing this clip? Who in their right mind would ask for this haircut? This is a chessboard. Why would you want a chessboard on your head? And why is the caption, "Man be giving me ideas"? Does the owner of this YouTube channel want to go and build a snowman just to frick it as well?
My son and his friend creamed all over my face. My son's biggest passion is soccer. He's not the only one who liked to play with balls.
Hey, yo, what are you talking about? Your son and his friend creams all over your face. Okay, I hope it literally means whipped cream and not like any other type of cream.
I always used to watch his games and take him to practice and would proudly watch him. I used to take him and his friend home 3 to 4 days a week because they were living close. And it was his best friend that didn't have that much support from his parents. And I felt bad for it, so I liked to make him feel better. It was match day, and they were having an important match for finals in a local league. In the first half, my son scored 2 goals, so it was 2-0. Second half starts, and the other team scored 3 goals and overturned match. And it was the 87th minute, and it was 3-2. My son's friend scored an equalizer at 3-3, and then his friend scored 2 goals because they had 6 minutes of extra time, leading to winning the local cup. And everyone was so happy, and we celebrated. I got out of the chair and jumped, Tada's bouncing and everything. At this point, I was so happy and told them that I was taking them home so we can celebrate. Son's best friend asked that because they are the winners. They both want a reward because they put in so much effort. And he said that because they want. He gets to see my cherries, obviously. I flashed him, and my son also saw it.
Whoa, wait, what are we talking about? Your son's friend wants a reward for winning the game, so you flash your honker bonkers at him as a reward, and you agree to it? How are you agreeing to this? And your son also sees it as well.
I flashed him, and my son also saw it, and they started laughing and being excited. His friend ended up spending the night. I woke up the next morning, and my face was covered in a white substance. I wiped my eyes off and saw my son and his friend running away from my bed, laughing and picking up their pants. I looked in the mirror and looked like a glazed donut. They got me good.
Wait, so you let your son sleep over at your house, and in the morning, they just nutted all over your face? So you literally look like a glazed donut. This is literally your face. Your son and his best friend literally creamed all over your face. I thought this was gonna be whipped cream, but instead they glazed your donuts. Okay. That seems very illegal. But I guess, yeah, the son's best friend will not be staying over ever again, I don't think. I hope not.
I asked my mom if I can take a bath with her when I was younger because I was scared to be alone. And she was like, sure, but just don't look up. And I agree. But sure enough, while we were taking the bath, I looked up and I said, whoa, what are those? And she was like, those are just headlights. And then I looked down and I said, whoa, what is that? She was like, Artie, that's just a bush.
So your mum's honker bonkers are headlights and your mum's lasagna is so hairy that it's just a bush. Okay, sure.
Then the next day, my mom wasn't home, but I was scared to be alone, so I asked my dad if I could take a shower with him instead. My dad was like, okay, Artie, but just don't look up. And sure enough, when we got in there, I looked up and I said, whoa, what is that? He was like, Artie, I told you not to look up, but that's just a snake.
Damn, I wonder what the snake could represent.
Then, later on that night, I was trying to fall asleep, but I got scared. So I walked up to my parents' room, and I knocked on the door. And then I asked my parents, I was like, can I please sleep with you guys? I'm scared. And they were like, yeah, you can. Just make sure you don't look under the covers. I was so scared, I was like, okay, I promise I won't. And then I jumped in the bed with them. Sure enough, like 10 to 15 minutes pass. And I'm starting to get really bored, so I look under the covers and I'm in complete shock. I start screaming. I'm like, Ma, turn on the headlight. The snake is in the bush. I repeat, the snake is in the bush.
What, so your parents were literally doing the frickety under the blankets while you were sleeping in the same bed as them? But I mean, they specifically told you not to look under the blankets. But 10 to 15 minutes pass and you're bored? Bro, aren't you meant to sleep? How can you get bored when you're trying to sleep? Do you have like ADHD or something? 10 to 15 minutes pass, just go to sleep. You're meant to sleep.
Dads of Reddit, how did you find out that your daughter was asleep in high school? I was picking my 16-year-old daughter up from her dance practice, and I start talking to see how she is doing in school. She says that this semester was her best yet, and that she got a 2.5 GPA.
Okay, I don't know what the GPA system is, because I don't know whether we have that in Australia, but 2.5, it just sounds a little bit low. I assume it's low.
My daughter is really stupid, so I see this as a win. Anyways, when we get home, I see bruises all over her foot, and I ask her what happened today. She said nothing really, and she proceeds to get on with her day. A few minutes later, she says, Dad, we need to go to the doctor's office. I have bumps on my private area. I am curious and say, wow, this is serious. We need to go tomorrow. So I drive her to the doctor and get the report back that she is positive for about every STD imaginable.
Jesus, okay, so that is definitely a way to find out that your daughter was an SLUT. Am I allowed to say that word? The original Ask Reddit question was, how did you find out your daughter was a SLUT?
The doctor also adds that her coochie has been stretched to the maximum, and that he believes the number of partners she has slept with is in the triple digits.
Was this necessary information from the doctor? I don't know whether this is professional for the doctor to be giving you this sort of information. The doctor could have just stopped at the STDs. Like, all he had to do was check whether your daughter had an STD. But instead, he went above and beyond and told you that her coochie had been stretched to its maximum limit and predicts that the number of partners she slept with is in the triple digits. So she could have slept with at least 100 people. That is pretty insane.
I ask how this is even possible, as I didn't even think that was remotely possible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I found out that she has her own business in the bathroom stalls. That for $100, she will bang you for 10 minutes.
Okay, maybe that's why she has the STDs. Maybe perhaps that's how she got it. But I mean, $100 for 10 minutes. That is a very good business for her to run. Actually, okay, it's not a good business for her to run, but like, yeah, she would be making a lot of money. So that's like $600 an hour maximum. That's not too shabby. I mean, she's an entrepreneur. She's making money. You should be, as a dad, you should be proud of her. She's finding ways to like start a business, make money.
I was extremely frustrated and took away her ice cream privileges for a week, and she now has to help me mow the lawn.
I mean, to be honest, if she was my daughter, I would at least be a little bit proud of her of like building a business and trying to make money, because like OnlyFans people, like they build their own like businesses and like their empires, and they make a lot of money. Like Sophie Rain made like $76 million in Korea earnings. Like that is insane. That is more money than entire bloodlines will ever make in their entire bloodline. And so realistically, if that was your daughter, like you wouldn't be like 100% mad. Like you'd be like 99% mad, but like 1% in you would be like a little bit proud of her of like trying to like build her own business, right?